Proceedings in Entrepreneurship. There's another book there, The Challenges of Agriculture in National Development. There's another book there, The Creativity, Innovation in Entrepreneurship. The essence is to make everybody relax so that in the end, father here, and the father here, and the father there, and fathers that are all there, will make arrangement at least and put copies of this book in the library, yes, so that you don't have to go about writing when I'm talking. Just look at my face. Yes. I'm going to start with farmers' entrepreneurship. You see, I am not a very good farmer, but I'm a farmer. Because even during the war, at an early age of 9 years, I had to raise chickens to be able to hold the family, because my elder brother was at war. So I became the man of the house. So I raised chicken, I go to the market, I sell the chicken, I give my mother the money. So that is how my entrepreneurship ideas came up. What I want to say is we must become entrepreneurial if we have to succeed. Whether you are a soldier, a policeman, a reverend father, is it not true? A teller, whatever you are, you must be entrepreneurial. So I want to say that being entrepreneurial is doing things in a different way. You have to be creative. You have to be innovative. You have to know how to deal with people. That is why I read all those courses, including psychology. Because if you don't treat anybody well, there's a mistake. That is why we are in a problem now. Okay? At the center of entrepreneurship is the entrepreneur, who is the vision bearer, the idea generator, who solely relies on his or her abilities to generate ideas for product or services. An entrepreneur mobilizes. He mobilizes the factors of production, such as resources, personnel, materials, and he goes on to do a strategic plan. And that is why strategic management is necessary for every organization. The process whereby an individual becomes aware of business ownership and an option of viable alternative, develops idea for business, learns the process of becoming an entrepreneur, and undertake the initiation and development of a business is referred to as entrepreneurship. Also, he has to learn to minimize food-borne illness if you are talking about food entrepreneurship. So as a food scientist, because if there is no food, there is hunger, isn't it? Good. So I can say that I'm in the best, the profession, food science and technology, isn't it? You have to be better. Very good. Entrepreneurs add value to agricultural commodities because you can come out from the farm. You can have cassava, you can have yam, you can have wheat, you can have corn, but you don't have to be eating corn, yam, and cassava every day. So you can turn them into valuable products. And I'm amazed because the people from the West are already doing that. If you come to the East, even University of Nigeria, you go to ShopRite, you go to the supermarket, you see all products that are coming from Congo, different areas in the West. That they are turning these products into things that are packaged very well so that children go to school with the snacks, isn't it? This is an example. I don't have to give more so that I can catch up with the time. Now, if we look at what is happening in the world, you know that during the last quarter of the 20th century, entrepreneurs and innovators have drastically transformed the economy of the world. Amazingly, over 95% of the wealth in America today has been created by each generation of revolutionaries. since 1980. By 1997, every 3 households in America, that's 7%, or 35 million households, includes someone who has a primary role in a new or emerging business. Until quite recently, it was widely held in the popular press and media that huge dominant firms were the key to America's strong economy. But it is not true now. Because we know that the small and medium enterprises are even playing an additional, if not valuable, part. Because even in the villages, if everybody is doing something, you find out that when you add all of them together, it will work. But if you rely on the big companies, how many of them do we have? If you go from Onitsha to Nsukka now, you see that all the companies have collapsed. So it is in other areas. True of course, because of lack of funds and things like that, and ideas. But when you give it to the small and medium, with what is happening, for example, a Lelu giving $5,000 to people everywhere in Africa. Things are changing because the youth are becoming entrepreneurs, managers, and owners of different businesses. Good. Classical entrepreneurship means new venture creation. It is the single most important force to create economic and social mobility. In 1994, the United Nations General Assembly passed a unanimous resolution endorsing and encouraging all emerging and developed nations to pursue entrepreneurship as a policy. Agriculture and food processing are areas, are areas where people have to put all their efforts. Our dream for an economically viable Nigeria is more alive and well than ever before. If we are talking of agriculture, not only the product, but processing and the package and doing other things that will make what is produced to at least have a good shelf life. Shelf life is if you produce something today and tomorrow it is bad and you eat it and you have a running tummy. That is no food. Okay? By our definition, food is something that is nutritious and that keep you healthy. And if you think that in my 40s you are making a big mistake, because I'm already 70. Next year I'm 70 years. Okay? But you see how I look. Because you are what you eat. You agree? Yes. If you don't eat good food, forget it. Because you are going to look like a different person. But when you eat good food, you are healthy and you can move on. The question is, do we have any panacea? Do we have any solution to the world's problem? That's the question. Of course, we do. We have scientists, we have everybody here. We have Reverend Fathers. You know that the Reverend Fathers are those that transformed all the youth. Because in the church, the imams, everybody who is related to religion, transforms people into what they will be so that they can be helpful to others. So food is synonymous with livelihood. It is consumed by everyone alive and can only be optimized by the consumption of certain quantities and qualities at constant rate. Today, we are witnessing emergence of dangerous politics of food scarcity, like you see between Ukraine and Russia. As they are fighting, they are punishing others. As you can see, sometime in Argentina and other areas, saying that they will not now export their wheat, the grains, because they want to make sure that they don't feed others, because
because they have those to feed. This is dangerous politics. This began in 2007 when leading wheat producing and exporting countries such as Russia and Argentina limited or banned exports in an attempt to counter rise in domestic food prices. Deforestation is another problem where people are going to cut all the woods to sell to get money. They are disturbing agricultural development. And it happens all over, from here to Kogi State to Anambra. People are cutting trees to sell so that they can make money, and so agriculture is being affected. It also, deforestation was also cited as a major factor militating against agricultural development in Nigeria itself, like I have said. Now, going on, global warming is another problem. Everybody, you hear about global regime. Climate change means agriculture will be increasingly out of sync with its natural environment. If you are used to something and just without a great knowledge, and they say there is global warming, wouldn't it affect the products the farmers have on the ground? It will. That is an aspect of climate change. In 2006, well, I just start from, signs of food stress are everywhere. Signs of food stress are everywhere. Now, after declining for several decades, the number of chronically hungry and malnourished people in developing countries bottomed out in 1996 at 800 million, and has been climbing since. In 2006, it exceeded 850 million, and in 2007, it climbed to over 980 million. That people getting hungry. The U.S. Department of Agriculture projects the number will reach 1.2 billion by 2017. For the first time in several decades, this basic social indicator is moving in the wrong direction, and it is doing so at a record rate and with disturbing social consequences. No country is immune to the effects of lightening food supplies. No country. There is no immunity. If you have no food, there is hunger. The current world food crisis can be alleviated only by altering the trends that are causing it. So since we are in the university, and we have universities everywhere, private, state, national, everywhere, there's university. People should go back to business and find out how we can solve these problems. That is poverty alleviation. So, this involves extraordinary measures such as stabilizing, when you stabilize the system. Food insecurity affects 1 out of every 3 Africans, because in many ecological zones, crop production is seasonal. You agree? You don't have it every time. Yet, household food security depends on the regular and sustainable supply of food throughout the year. Now, there are ways to make sure that we can have food throughout the year. I've seen people, some states, put food banks, cans, they store food, the grains, isn't it? Have you seen them? If you go to Adam in the silos, you're surprised. As big as the building. They pack it with food. Okay? It's people generating those ideas. So we need to step up get even worse in years ahead in certain parts of the region due to rapid population growth, limited additional land that can be brought under cultivation. The good news is that a world in which people are food secure is a world where all people have access to sufficient food to sustain a healthy, productive life, where malnourishment is absent, and where food originates from well-integrated, competitive, and least-cost systems based on food, based on the sustainable use of natural resources. Improving and intensifying the application of food production technologies so as to increase the level of food production alone will solve only a part of the problem related to food insecurity. Post-harvest preservation and packaging must also play a significant part. When you bring out the product from the farm and you cannot preserve them, they all go to wrong. So what you are saying is that in food sense you have the packaging and preservation of food. Now, I have to rush and go to the scope of the food industry. It's a very wide one. That's the good news. The food industry is a complex, global, collective of diverse business that together supply much of the food energy consumed by the world population. Let's see. If we talk of agriculture, it's raising of crops, livestock, and seafood. You agree? And others. Food processing is the second part. I've said, because if you don't preserve, you go to wrong. Isn't it? The marketing aspect is even the best. That is why you see people that, if you look at their TV every night now, from AIP to NTA to channels, you see that even piece of it that join marketing, isn't it? With their parents. Is it true of us? They are making money. Because it's not for free. Is it for free? Good. But marketing is important because it's making sure that the producer is able to sell and move on. So marketing is a part of agriculture. Wholesale and distribution is a part of research and development is a part of agriculture. Because as a food scientist, what we do is the research. For example, many years ago, you can't preserve eggs in Nigeria, just ordinary eggs. You buy the eggs, within a week they are gone. Why? Because of never going on and off, isn't it? As soon as never goes off, you have water, gathering on the shelves. What does the water do? It serves as a way of microorganisms to penetrate those pores, which are many, and to spoil the egg. So as a young food scientist, when I returned to Nigeria, I told people about use of oil to preserve eggs. You don't have to waste your time in reflection, whether they give you lunch or they don't give you. In my inaugural lecture many years ago, he was there. If you dip fresh eggs in oil, it's not raw oil. That is the colorless, those ones they put in tins, okay? You dip them in oil, you blend them and put them in the baskets of things. Don't put them in the refrigerator, they can stay for at least 3 weeks. They won't spoil. You try me. My wife does that. She buys it, she says, please let me oil the eggs. How can I do it for her? And I said it in my inaugural lecture, and the women were clapping. It looks a very simple research, but that was one of the research I did in Purdue University, one of the best universities in the world. Because I told them I don't need your electricity. I want to go back to Africa, where I finished. And that's why I came back. And I've been back. I've been teaching for 41 years. So the 35 was good.
I'm a professor of 31 years. I'm the oldest professor in agriculture in the University of St right now. Because the old ones are retired. So when I retire, then another person will become the oldest. But as at now, what I say was rest. So research is important. So just tell their brothers and sisters and their children to do agriculture. There's nothing wrong with that. Agriculture is not using hope to till that matter. Even the tractor is there now to do so many things. So the technology is improving. Financial services, insurance and all this things. Now people can get loans from different banks. See, elderly is expanding every day. Last week, he was elected election, they are putting more money for it. Because he's using the money for the poor, isn't it? Good. So the olden days are past when he said there's no fault. When I started United States, I was using my salary report. After I started writing to improving farming methods and implements are also said to be engaged in agriculture. Are you following? Those that are producing the equipment are in agriculture, whether you like it or not. If they don't produce, you can't even do anything. So agriculture, more people in the world are involved in agriculture as their primary economic activity than in any other. Yet, it only accounts for 4% of the world's gross domestic product. More people are involved, but it accounts for 4%. So if you can train people to become more useful, scientific, like implement what they are doing in the farm, okay? Good. If every university has a farm, every state has a farm, there won't be hunger in Nigeria, I think so, and elsewhere. So, sophisticated technology, define modern food products. Sophisticated, it's not the top class. The top class cannot do anything for you now. Okay? They include many areas. Agriculture, machinery, originally led by the tractor, has practically eliminated human labor. Biotechnology is on. The computer technology is on. So as consumers grow increasingly and more remotely located from food production sites, the role of product creation, advertising, and publicity become the primary vehicles for information about food. With processed food as the dominant category, marketers have almost infinite possibilities in the production creation. Entrepreneurial opportunities in agriculture abound. They abound. This is entrepreneurship. Having the enabling environment, acquiring the skills, and after training, have access to sources of the fund. So the universities are doing it. Everybody, you acquire so many skills. I even at my age now have said that when I retire, I go back to computer and make sure that I acquire that computer skill that these youth are bragging about, so that I can stay in Nigeria and be teaching in America. I'm going to do that, actually. I will do that because I don't have to be traveling to America. Why? Nigeria is safe for me. Since I came, I have not been shot. Okay? So this is what I'm telling you. What we need is to be peaceful, at peace with each other. Okay? And then you can stay where you are and be working any part of the world. That is technology. Good. Now, agriculture has been in the 7-point agenda of all federal government sets of states in Nigeria. You know that each and every one of them, when they come, they say agriculture. Okay? Good. So, it is not new. This is entrepreneurship because even the retired army generals all have farms. Surprisingly, other farms, if you go there, you marvel. Okay? You go to Mina, you will marvel because Abdul Salam. I've been there. If you go to anywhere of those generals, their homes, you will see wonders. So if the generals can do it, why can't university do it instead of going on strike every time? Okay, because the generals, they don't go on strike, they are producing this food for people around and also for themselves. Isn't it good? So these are the areas we have to concentrate. So this is entrepreneurship. Having the enabling environment, acquiring the skills, and after training, you have access to funds. Today's lecture, Food Entrepreneurship, is taught very highly. The broad sections in agriculture are said, I don't want to repeat. Enterprise in any of these areas is already market and demand driven. If you go without saying that endeavor in rice production in any scale is already on demand. The soil scientist itself is a deliberate fulcrum and gives the direction and bearing for all the other enterprises. Because you can't just go and plant something in the soil that is not good. Is it? Yeah, it won't work. The role of the soil scientist as the role of food transcends agriculture. Very important. Prior to every investment, the suitability of the land is of special interest. As aerial and marine agriculture is gaining popularity, the scope of soil science is expanding and becoming more challenging and more opportune. Most industrial raw materials are of crop origin or their synthetic relatives. The highest quality products are manufactured with real crop-based raw materials. Though Nigeria is one of the world's largest producers of yam, listen, Ghana recently made its mark in global supply map as the largest exporter of yam to the United States. Small Ghana. Small Ghana, just like a state. Okay. So, you know, I'm serious. So I'm telling you. But Nigeria is the largest producer. But you don't eat yam one after night, yam one after night. You do something with the yam and produce things that they will use in the industry, isn't it? Yes, that's what you are saying. So, this implies two things. The basic fact is that as the largest producer of yam in the globe, Nigeria stands a chance of equally becoming the largest exporter of yam in any part of the globe, especially because the Ghanaian production capacity falls below 10% of the current production capacity in Nigeria. Yes, this has earned them a place. Yes, this has earned them a place in the map. The second and perhaps the most important thing is that the yam is becoming an international raw material. Less than 1%, thank you, less than 1% of yam consumed in the United States of America is eaten directly. They don't eat it, they use it to do other things. Fruits and vegetables abound in this country, isn't it? So, those who know about food, the fruit drinks, know that they are doing it from the fruits that they plant, isn't it? They have orchards, so they convert it to those drinks that you go to buy at an expensive rate. So agriculture does not just mean producing yam, producing rice, producing corn, like I have said. You have to turn it into something. Then, livestock for itself. Poultry is enjoying tremendous boom, which elicits the interest of those who finance it. Because if you start a small poultry farm, before you know it, you are producing eggs, you are producing those you will sell to make money. And that brings us to the Holy Fathers that you should try to have gardens at the backyard. Isn't it? Every house. That is what you say. And now people should do it. If you don't do it, from where do you expect to get a food? Our grandmothers did it in their compounds. Our grandfathers, they did it, and that's why they survived. But now everybody wants to go in on big gardens and all those things. There's nothing wrong with having all those gardens inside your compound. It will help a lot. Prices of poultry and poultry products are swinging upwards. If they are swinging upwards, it will be a beneficiary. So I've talked about processing. I'm not going to go to it again. But you know, if you are head of agribusiness, you know that the sky is the limit for professionals like you and I. Agribusiness. If you are doing business in agriculture, you should be richer than the other people. Whether you like it or not, it is true. Marketing of agricultural produce, including raw materials, finished goods, semi-finished goods, and so on. These are all the things you have to consider, and you will make a way. Be informed that the relationship between agriculture and sustainable passionate development is interlocked even in developed economies. No other sector of the economy sustains development more than agriculture. No matter their efficiency and or stage of advancement. Synthetic equivalents of agricultural produce are always considered inferior and act only as substitute, especially where the supply of such agricultural raw materials have shortfalls. Again, to supply all industrial raw materials needs is the foremost challenge to real entrepreneurs like you and I. So, has my time rounded up or I still have 2 minutes? Are you sure, Father? 1 minute. You see how I waited? I've won 1 minute, so if you help me, I can go. You must have to entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is to be smiling and people tell you, you negotiate, okay? It's not you start to carry machete or a gun. It's not going to help us. So, you go to packaging, you go to product development, I've said it before, but then you have to have the idea of to plan something before you start. That is why we have strategic management. Anybody who went to school can buy books and read and know how to do things. Isn't it? You don't open up a farm if you haven't planned. I spent 2 months behind reading about strategic management, a book that was as big as this. A professor and the old professor said I should read it, so that 2 of us will be writing the book. He's old, so he taught me, so I said, okay, reading it is not easy, but I think now I can go to an interview and tell them that I took a course on strategic management. What they will do is to give me a question to answer. And after answering it, they will believe that I went to school. Isn't it? So please, younger ones that are crying, they will be future leaders. You have to read. People like me, I read widely. I went to school in St. Anthony's School. Anybody here from the Delta? If you ask, you know that the Catholic schools, Anglican schools, they always make sure that they transform their students into entrepreneurs. So, it's not being a doctor that is the issue. I can't even be a doctor because I can't cut any. I can't be a lawyer because I was born a stammerer. You know I stammer, but I don't see me now. From time to time, I have a blog. But in US, they love me to get my PhD. They said I must be giving a lecture every month. Hey, I said, God, you have finished me. Okay? So I went to hospital, and the doctor said, we don't cure stammering. They call it stuttering. But Alex, there in Kodu is the best place where they can help you speak well. So I went to that place. The director is a stammerer. So I now said I have to use African mentality. So I got there, I was doing my head like this. Before I said it, I do like it. So he said, Alex, wait. No problem. And then he stammered it, so I said, he's so small. So I did my own, turn my head around. So Peter really is his name. You can go Peter, really. Small, lanky, handsome man. He went and went to his office and came back with a handsome, beautiful guy and said,
Alex, this is a therapist. She's going to work with you. It took me only 2 weeks, I became an already. Please go to the University of Nigeria. He was there. My inaugural lecture was adjudged the best university I've ever had. Yet I was a stammerer. Do you know why they rushed? They came to see how the stammerer will perform. And then the stammerer became a star. So I don't have to go on and on. These books that I've written, please tell the Reverend Fathers, and this is my boss now. He's my boss now, but I was his boss before. But now he's my boss. To buy these books, and lecturers should learn how to write books. Okay? Please, can I have this one? When I came back from the States in 1981, okay? I watched these older professors and they were doing mago. They asked me questions I will answer, okay? Because I don't want their problem. I don't want to scammer, okay? So eventually, I caught up with them. They found out that I have skills. You know, all the agri-week University of Nigeria have done, I have been the chairman of agri-week. Go and find out until I told them I cannot do that job for you people again. In short, I'm going to be the dean of agriculture. Go and ask them. And I became the dean I won because of the skills I have. And I changed agriculture, I transformed agriculture. As a head of department, they wanted to make me a head of class. I won't be a head of department until I am a professor. And they made me a professor after the mago. And I transformed food science and tech. So this is what you need to survive. So when you have all these skills that you find in these books, and you write your own books, your students will not suffer. And two, you know that you are teaching your students how to gain skills, isn't it? And as they gain skills, you also gain skills. And when you do all these things, books like this, the challenges of agriculture in national development, you see, edited by AI Ikeme. That was as far as 1990. When I was giving the professor order, if you don't write, I will put your name. Finish. I said the young guys will talk about, they started to write. So this place are about 30 professors took part in it. Then the young one, everybody, we wrote. So this book is standing because you can manipulate people, negotiate with them. Prof, the next time I come, if you don't write, I'll cancel your name. Of course, you say, look at this small boy. So, but I'm not a small boy now. Am I? No. I think I have to stop so far because I don't want to take up.
I wasn't the only one that delivered a speech, but everybody did. So I've told Father Francis exactly what he will do. This is, I've been attending this type of the function. This is exceptionally brilliant and excellent. So he's going to put everything together and come up with a record, something, a document that you people will be very proud of, because this looks like something that has not been seen in even the bigger universities. So there is nothing different. You people are fantastic. It is excellent. Okay. What I have heard about Oyo State, okay, is encouraging, isn't it? The different speakers have said they've done this, they've done that, they've done that. Yeah. So if every state will emulate what you people are doing here, like Enugu State, Anambra State, they are not doing this type of thing, then things will be better. Like I told you, Soludo has just started. And if you go through his plans, you know that he wants to behave like you people, okay? So what the government has to do, when the federal government is doing their own and the states are getting the money, the politicians should not squander the money. They should use it for the people. That's why I say that the poor ones are suffering and the rich ones are just getting too rich. And that is not good.